In episode 514 of the Clive Barker Podcast, Ryan and Jose talk to the folks at the Hellraiser Revival Discord server. What seemingly started out as a place for people who were impatient for news about the upcoming game changed quickly into a mecca for Hellraiser fandom. This is the Clive Barker Podcast, where longtime fans Ryan and Jose interview guests, bring you the news, and take deep dives into Barker-related stuff. This episode will be available in podcast audio or YouTube video. This episode is sponsored by Don Bertram's Celebrate Imagination. Don Bertram is a longtime friend of Clive and advocate of his art, but Don's unique and inspiring paintings are for sale, and over 50% of the proceeds go to the Arts and Medicine program at the Texas Children's Cancer Center. There's even a paver in Washington, D.C. representing Celebrate Imagination. We're thrilled that this worthy cause is sponsoring our podcast again this year, and we hope that you'll consider looking over his Pinterest page and commissioning a painting of your own. For commissions, Don requires no money down, and there will be no obligation on your part. You can also head over to the Etsy shop to buy one of his books, like A Chimney Sweep's Tale, Celebrate Imagination, or The Imaginaries. Follow the link in the show notes, or click on the side banner, and let's see what's new with Don Bertram today. Texas friends, Don will be at the art show in Pearland November 22nd at County Place Social Hall. You can check out his recent paintings Fireflies, The Waiting Room 2, or Tulips III. Let's welcome our other sponsor, Ed Martinez, and his YouTube channel. Lots of great special effects videos and Barker-related content. What's the latest from Ed? Take a look at the day that Ed and Nina first met, the 1992 Fangoria Weekend of Horrors Chicago Costume Contest. We have a new sponsor. It's the Now Playing Podcast. Arnie, Stuart, Justin, Marjorie, and Brock host a long-running movie review podcast and have a comprehensive blog with book reviews. Check out this one on the Hellbound Heart. They've even written a book on underrated movies. They started in 2007, but the podcast really took off when they began doing movie retrospective series in 2009, like when they did Friday the 13th or all the Stephen King movies. They've even covered Clive Barker movies in some Patreon-exclusive episodes. Please check out the Now Playing Podcast, and if you love it like we do, you might want to help out their donation drive. Here's their most recent stuff. Their most recent episodes cover Return to Oz and Predator, Killer of Killers. Well, welcome everybody. This is episode 514 of the Clive Barker Podcast, and today we're talking with some of the team behind Hellraiser Revival Discord. So welcome everybody. We've got Crawley and Crawford and Jeffercakes.
Thanks for having us.
Hey guys, nice to have you here. I've been very excited about this game, and we found out about your Discord very early on. It's a great place. You guys have been putting out some really interesting exclusive material, and thanks for being here.
It was fun.
Thanks for having us.
Combat Tether tagged us, and we thought, oh my God, we're getting contacted by the team that is making the game. You know, and then, so it was, you guys kind of put us on a roller coaster, and then we found, oh no, it's a fans Discord about the game, but then it's kind of turned into something more. It's and I just posted about this, but it seems like kind of a mecca of Hellraiser fandom now. So it's kind of expanded beyond just talking about the upcoming game, which the game looks really cool, and we're still excited about it. But yeah, you've got all kinds of cool Hellraiser content on there that you can't see anywhere else.
Very much so. The amount we've had to expand all the channels throughout the Discord, just because people started talking about different subjects in areas in the Discord that doesn't kind of match up. So we just tried to create different places where people could actually talk about all of the stuff that they really wanted to. But the distinction is really kind of your experience is what other people are experiencing out there as well. The amount of people who have said, oh my God, the guys who are making the game are getting some incredible interviews and they're doing some incredible stuff to promote this thing. Yeah. And we're just sat there like, actually, we're just like a fan Discord, and we're the ones who are doing like all of the work to promote this. So it's been a bit of a fun turn of time, really.
I had a similar experience and I set up a table at a convention for our podcast, which is called the Clive Barker Podcast. And so I'd have people coming up to me, oh my God, my wife is a huge fan. And you got to sign this for me. I'm like, you understand that I'm not Clive Barker, right? He's like, what, really?
Yeah, it's a little awkward.
Yeah.
But super excited about this game. Can you guys introduce yourselves and tell us how the Hellraiser Revival Discord community began? Can we start with Jeffercakes, maybe?
Yeah, I'll go first. I'm Jeffercakes, otherwise known as Jeffercakes the Toy Maker, because I did a edit of Bloodline, which I think we'll discuss about a little bit later, or
Yeah.
Jeffercakes Le Marchand. I actually found the Discord through Facebook because Tether was posting it. I think I joined within the first week or 2 weeks of the Discord actually being around. We had less than 50 members. And it was just a place where people were trying to discuss what was happening with the game, but also people were coming together and were like, hey, do you remember this thing in Hellraiser 3? Or what was your thoughts of, what's in the box with the 7 version of Hellraiser? And people were just discussing theories and movies, and also like the artwork and the comic books and merchandise. And it just became like this place where everybody wanted to just talk about everything Hellraiser. And I knew immediately that I wanted to get involved. I wanted to try and do something positive within the Discord. And it was just leading up to the anniversary of Hellraiser 1 coming out. So I decided to set up a watch along. I pitched it to Tether initially that we should, on the night that the anniversary is, we should watch 1, 2, and 3. And that's how I started to get involved as a moderator doing the watch along for that event. And that's kind of how I started getting involved with it.
What about you, Crawley?
I think I joined up. It was, I want to say a Reddit post. It was the Jamie Clayton little video for the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
And right away, I was like, Hellraiser fan community, like I haven't seen any really anywhere. So right away, I was like, all right, I got to jump on this right away. And initially, I was just kind of figuring I'd hang out, check some of this stuff out. But with all the different channels, with sub channels, I just got more and more dragged into different conversations about the minutia, about all of Clive Barker and all of Hellraiser. I'm really excited about the game, and I've actually have some experience with other gaming discords and stuff. So I figured like, hey, I'd really like to become a part of this and kind of see this through, because some of the stuff that Tether was getting, all these interviews and stuff, it just kind of blew my mind that this wasn't really happening. It was a franchise that I'm very much in love with. You don't see many of these little pockets where you can kind of dive in and really get in with other people who are also interested in it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that these Discord channels and servers now have taken over the role that old forums used to have for the communities that were around the internet, because those forums, most of them kind of died out, and Facebook doesn't really have
WordPress sites.
Yeah,
Well,
WordPress, right?
well,
Yeah,
and those forums were a replacement for bulletin board systems.
yeah, that's true. But you guys have a server that's extremely like detailed. There's a lot of stuff, always a news archive about the game and screenshots and it's like anything that you guys can find out about the game is right here. And it's extremely thorough and very useful. What about you, Crawford?
I believe, if I recollect correctly, I also joined through a link on the Reddit. I think it was an early link. I've tried and failed to cultivate Hellraiser Discord for some time now, so I was absolutely elated to see that somebody had done it far more proficiently than I. I guess in the way of getting into moderation, they put it in like a open, I'm going to say casting call, but call for a moderator, and I absolutely adore Hellraiser, so that was a no-brainer. I'd already run Literature Master List for some time now, so I thought that maybe I could have something to bring to the table. And so I just submitted my interest, my application, and that was that.
Oh, it's really nice.
And your handle on there is Pinhead's Tapeworm, right?
It is, yes.
Where did that come from?
Jeff's kiss.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Just, I guess, the recesses of my mind.
Okay, that's good.
So you came from another horror community or literary community before this one?
I put together the Hellraiser literature and script master list for a while. I try to make it publicly available for people who don't have the resources to get into the comics and things like that, because they can be pretty pricey. So it's like a comprehensive list. It's color coded. It's an Excel sheet. Very proud of it.
I actually
Yeah.
use that Excel spreadsheet, and it's actually how I've jumped into the comics using that. So
Wow.
it's
Yeah,
a good
same.
resource.
We should add that to the show notes if you want to share that with us.
Yeah, I'm typing it on here, but if you can send us a link, that would be great.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I just froze for a moment there. Let's
Oh,
see.
that's okay.
It's all good. Yeah. What games do you guys usually play?
Funny enough, I am part of a Helldivers 2 Discord community. We have like little Discord clans or whatever, and ours is the Ninth Hellraisers, which is just a funny little coincidence. But
Oh,
I saw Ryan behind you. You have a copy of Jericho.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have my PS3 that I have dug out, and I'd say every month or so I come back to that game because that one is just a piece of
Yeah.
art for me.
I ended up buying every single version of it, so I have the PC and the PlayStation 3 and then the tin box like versions of both Xbox 360, but mainly I play it on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, that's amazing. I have to drag out my old PS3 for that, but mainly
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like the just survival horror. So obviously, when they were saying that this one's going to be kind of up that alley as opposed to just another, multiplayer
Did
thing
you
like that, I was really excited. And then once, I saw that the Clive Barker's name was attached to it and Doug Bradley's voice and everything, like I ecstatic.
Yeah, yeah. Did you play Dead by Daylight when they had the Hellraiser DLC? Yeah.
Yes, I did. I mained him for a while. I enjoy that game. It's kind of like a weird love-hate relationship. I enjoy playing it, but every once in a while, just I don't know if it's the community or something, but it's got its ups and downs.
I have to admit
Luckily,
that I tried it and I hated it because I tried to play it for a while and then the downloadable stuff for Hellraiser came out and I added it and it would never come up or I couldn't figure out how to play with that stuff, so it felt like I just wasted my money. And so I
it
don't know. I just gave up on it.
it feels like they're constantly trying to find a balance between like the survivor side and the killer side, and it's just always in this weird pendulum swing where it's never quite balanced one way or the other, and
Hmm.
it's just I don't know. So if you find yourself playing as a killer when it's more survivor balance, and you're just gonna have a bad time. So you got to kind of find that sweet spot, and it's
Mm.
definitely an acquired taste. But yeah, I was a big fan of the Hellraiser editions and Chatterer especially. I think he's my favorite Cenobite. So it was nice to be able to run around as him and hear his little clicking teeth as you're chasing people down.
That would have been
I'll be
nice.
honest, I'm semi glad that Pinhead has been removed from Dead by Daylight because I jump into Dead by Daylight maybe once every 2 to 3 months and I play ferociously for a couple of weeks. And the fact that he is removed, the survivors don't know how to react when he turns up again. They've forgotten how to use him and they've forgotten how to like negate him. So you turn up and you give them absolute shock and awe turning up with throwing chains around, and if you've got certain perks you can see where the box is at all times on the map, and they constantly run to the box and then you know where the survivors are. So it's quite a fun experience just to dip into that game knowing that he is no longer available, because not many people know how to deal with him. But I've only ever played Dead by Daylight as Pinhead, and I literally bought that game specifically to play as Pinhead. So
Don't they sometimes force you to be a survivor also?
They
no,
don't
you can
force
wait.
it. I think they incentivize it sometimes, but I don't think
Oh,
it's ever
okay.
forced.
You
Okay, so you
can
just
like
say this is
spend
what I'm
longer
going to
time in
do
the
and you
wait
wait for a
queues.
lobby where you can get in like okay.
I think one of the first games based on a Clive Barker property that Brian and I played was probably the Nightbreed interactive game that came out
Yeah.
like in the 90s, which was a
Was that
really,
the interactive movie or was that the game? It's like
there
because
were
I was
two.
yeah.
There was Nightbreed the game and Nightbreed the interactive movie. So I think
Yeah.
Ryan probably is the most biggest expert on those.
Yeah, so the and this one is the action game, which is kind of like a platformer. And then this one's the interactive movie where you have to pump the button on the joystick really fast to run away from Pelican, and if you don't time it just right, then Pelican eats you and you die.
Yeah, which I think they recently released that for the Switch, which
Oh,
that's what I
What?
originally started Dead by Daylight on, So I have Pinhead saved to my Nintendo Switch, but for some reason, I ended up switching over to the PlayStation. And for some reason, your characters don't transfer over. So whenever I want to play as Pinhead or
Oh.
Chatter, or I have to bring out the Nintendo Switch, and the controls are a little more clunky, so that advantage that Jeffercakes was talking about is completely lost on me.
Yeah, yeah.
For a second there, I thought you were saying that the Nightbreed interactive movie game was on the Switch.
No,
Yeah, that would have been cool.
that would have been
However,
great.
there was a game that was banned in the early 90s because it was like a video on demand game. And Nintendo did say that they would never put that on their console. And that did get a release on a Nintendo console last year, which was quite amusing. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a load of teenagers that were in a house and there was loads of trapdoors and a load of ninjas went and attacked them. It was like a
Night
video
Trap.
based.
Yeah, it's
Night
called
Trap.
Night Trap. It was a Sega
Yeah.
CD game.
Yeah.
So that actually released on the Nintendo Switch like last year, even though the Nintendo CEO at the time said, I will never allow this on my console ever.
Yeah.
What about you, Crawford? Do you play any games right now, or?
I have been a Dead by Daylight player since the ripe age of 15.
Oh, there you go.
And I have hated every second of my 2,000 hours. They have been grueling and agonizing.
Yeah.
I bought Pinhead shortly before the DLC, after the DLC released. And I was main doctor most of the time, but I transferred to maining him. And as I got more and more into Hellraiser, because I was kind of like skin familiar with it at the time, I started to get really irritated actually by the way that the lore didn't work with Dead by Daylight lore. And it was really minimal stuff, like how the survivors are like forced to open the box by like an external like stressor, and I'm like, that's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It reminds me of Fortnite a little bit, which my son used to play with his friends, and I would look at that and I go, why is Homer Simpson fighting, the Predator?
Exactly.
Or just, it's a bunch of stupid crap.
Yeah. Also, sorry, I was just gonna say that Dead by Daylight does have cross progression now. I believe, like, I'm fairly certain.
But because it's Nintendo, they don't allow the cross progression of
That's
characters. The licensed
insane.
material can't be transferred. Everything else is, but you have to repurchase the
You
characters.
gotta pay more
and
mushrooms.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
That's a
But
shame.
when I was at PAX East this past May, I had a pretty riveting conversation with one of the community managers for Dead by Daylight, because I asked, like, what's the deal with the Hellraiser DLC? What happened? What can you tell me? And is it coming back? And I don't want to name names because I don't want to get him in any trouble or anything, but he said that he felt like positive and optimistic about the DLC returning to the game. And so I kind of just think about that, keep it in mind.
Yeah, I heard rumors. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Maybe if
So-
another movie comes out, then it'll make that happen. Or this
Yeah.
game. So one interesting thing I wanted to ask you guys about, because the pre-orders came out in like, what was it, July? It was quite a while back. And so our assumption, Jose and I thought that this is probably going to come out in time for Halloween. But there's not only did it not happen, but they still don't have a date yet, right? I mean, has there been any chatter at all about when this might come out?
Yeah,
So-
not that we know of.
Okay.
Okay.
I think people are definitely getting irritated about it. I think there was some very light discussion about people trying to get their money back and then just buying the game when it comes out. So
Yeah.
I think it was unfortunate the way they ended the trailer, because they said at the end of the trailer that it will be out sooner than you think. And people were
But it's
expecting
not.
that would be like an imminent, like almost shadow drop. Whereas
Yeah.
if you look at the games industry as a whole, if you do an announcement trailer, you're talking at least 18 to 24 months out before the game releases on most games. So the fact that they dropped this trailer but then said it'll be out sooner, a lot of people have expectations that it'll be out really, really quick. However, in my mind, it's going to be like summer, maybe Halloween next year. That's kind of the vibe that I'm
Sure.
getting.
Sure. I
So
mean,
the game,
I know that,
but
because,
typically they don't do pre-orders that soon, right?
With collector's editions, they do. So if
Okay.
you look at something like Assassin's Creed Shadows that has recently come out, as soon as they did, or almost as soon as they did the release trailer for that, they were starting to tease the collector's editions for that and then putting that on sale, because they have a limited amount that they can create of the collector's edition. They do that almost like a pre-sale, and then they drop a trailer to say when the game's coming out, and then they launch things. So I think that's what they've done in this sense, is the collector's edition is not a pre-order, it's a pre-sale. They will only make X amount to cover everybody that's ordered. And then when they have an idea when the game's coming out, that's when they'll start sending things out.
But I think they were also pre-ordering regular editions too, right? Not just the collector's editions.
There's a version where you can get the game and the box. There's not a version where you can pre-order just the game on its own at the moment.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think
they
there's a link where it's you can wish list the game right now on Steam and stuff like that. But they're
that's
not doing
probably where I got
yeah.
confused. Okay.
Right.
So they need to make X amount of boxes to ship out to people, so they need to know how many they need to make, for example. And I
Okay.
think that's where a lot of people are getting a bit frustrated about it. There are people who pre-ordered Grand Theft Auto 6, and that's just been pushed back by another like 3 to 4 months.
I know.
So...
I usually
Speaking of
play
wait time.
I usually play Elder Scrolls games, and they've put out a trailer for Elder Scrolls 6 10 years ago, and it still hasn't come out.
That'll be another 15 years from now.
Yeah, I know. It's sometimes you just have to suffer for your games before they come out. But we were talking about Dead by Daylight. Of course, that's mostly just a skin and a DLC. This is going to be the first real, fully Hellraiser game adapted onto survival. And we're going to have Doug Bradley come back to do the voice of Pinhead. I know you guys have been asking other actors who played Cenobites in your server if they have been approached for some of these things. I think Simon Bamford was one of those. He said that the PR team reached out to him, but they didn't really ask him to reprise anything. But Doug Bradley being there, I think it's just a solid gold for any fan, because they're going to reproduce the classic Hellraiser, not the Hulu Hellraiser in this game, of course.
Well, it would be tough for Simon Bamford to do something because he didn't have any lines. That's
true.
Yeah.
That's true. Nicholas Vince, though, did say in one of the interviews on the Hellraiser Revival Discord that he would like to have done some sound effects for the chattering teeth if they had asked him. Unfortunately, he was not approached for that either. But I guess, Doug is always the most iconic Cenobite in the game. So we have seen screenshots where Shatter is going to be there as well. Not sure about the other Cenobites, but it's a very interesting recreation. For example, the box that Jeffercakes has there on the back of his table, it's going to be a completely new box, right? The Genesis configuration.
Yes, a completely new box. I feel like they're dropping little hints that there's going to be some mystery within this game, because they've mentioned that there's going to be four main Cenobites within the game, but then they will only show you certain angles of what this statue is going to look like, with only Pinhead being one of the sides of it. So are they going to create brand new Cenobites? Are they going to include ones that we're not expecting from some of the later remakes of the movies? It's really interesting how they've kind of phrased things. I've dug deep into the website, and I'm just like, that's a mystery that's tingling in the back of my head. Why have they not announced, or why have they not shown like a 360-degree view of the pillar, for example? So it'll be really interesting to see what Cenobites actually end up in the game.
Adding on to that, I think something that interested me was that this past September, the Silver Screen convention occurred, and Doug Bradley and Ashley Lawrence were in attendance, and they had like a little panel. And a big topic at the panel was the game that was coming up. And Doug Bradley said that he was being made to take like the role of Pinhead in a direction that he hasn't explored before. And I've been just stuck marinating on that. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, he's been in a lot of movies and done a lot of stuff.
So I know that the game's going to have melee and ranged combat, and we're going to fight Scarlet Church cultists. That's going to be one of the enemies, as well as wretches and deviants. And there's going to be some puzzle solving. So I guess at some point we're going to have to do some puzzle solving, maybe with a box. I know the box is going to be prominent in the game. Yeah. The protagonist, Aiden, is going to be using that to fight the Cenobites. So I'm kind of curious to see that. I've seen the Red Band trailer. It's very effective in making you want more. But I like the environments that they've been showing. They've been posting these screenshots of like these nightclubs, places that look like rooms with like surgeries going on. It looks like it's going to really delve into the gory aspect of the Cenobites as being these surgeons from beyond.
Yeah, I know Saber Interactive has talked about how they're pushing the rating system some as far as they can with some of the stuff that they include. One of the things that I really enjoy seeing watching the trailers of this game is something that I feel like a lot of Hellraiser stuff kind of misses out on is the fact that it's pain to some, pleasure to others, demons, angels, and stuff. Some of these cultists, while I was reading and watching, like you'll be attacking them and they'll be laughing and oh yes, more and more as you're sitting there like cutting them up and they're just loving every second of it.
Yeah, and you're like, great. Well, no, I don't want to hit you anymore.
Not if you like it. You're making it weird.
You're not supposed to like.
Then you've also got like one of the potential we're assuming is going to be one of the main bosses, who is like the artist who is trying to replicate stuff from like the Hellraiser franchise and the Cenobites. He's trying to create artworks based on the mythology. So there's like the ballerina, for example, and the flower, where he has committed this atrocity, but he's tried to turn it into art. And I feel like he is going to be one of those characters, a bit like what you get in BioShock, for example. He's one of these characters where he hasn't got the box. He hasn't had any interaction with any of the Cenobites. He just wants to be part of this world and he wants to be noticed. And I feel like he's going to be this human element that you're working to like solve his kind of story outside of the labyrinth. He's just like a generic murderer out there that is just inspired by Hellraiser. And a lot of the screenshots have been focused on him. I really want to jump in and unpick.
Oh, for sure. I mean, do you have any fan theories about the game's plot or how Pinhead's role might be different in this one? Or are there a lot of lore discussions in the Discord server?
There's several discussions. I know in the trailer, Pinhead says like, hey, she's been chosen, follow, become hellbound or whatever, become damned. Or so I feel like she solves the box, she's taken away, and you're trying to save her. But I'm not quite sure where the cultists fit in. I'm wondering if you have to kind of go through them because they are getting really close to trying to summon, the Cenobites or access that realm. So do you have to kind of go through them in order to get to her, or are they standing in your way? Are they trying to help you?
Right. Over the years, we had access to treatments and stuff that people were developing for Hellraiser remakes, and Ryan and I discussed a lot of those. Some of them involved cultists. The idea of having a cult of people who worship or in some way are trying to reach out to these Cenobites is something that's come up before in treatments and pitches. So
there was a cult where they wanted to put Hitler's heart in a toddler.
That's right.
Wow.
It was a very wild treatment. It was never got made, but that was very strange. So I'm not surprised that they would have like cultists. I think that would be kind of inevitable to when we read the Hellbound web and we see that Frank has all these instructions on how to summon the Cenobites and stuff like that. Plates of doves' heads and
you mean the Hellbound? You said the Hellbound web. You mean
the Hellbound Heart? Yes, sorry, okay, I was thinking about the Hellbound Heart novella. So it makes it seem like there was a ritual. There were people who actually had rituals and stuff that would. So I'm not surprised that they would put cultists. That's an interesting development for this game.
I mean, one fact that they pushed out about this game is that it comes 20 years after the original Hellraiser 1 movie, which would fit it in the timeline 2 years after Hellraiser Deader. Now, Deader did have almost like cultists on the train and people who were supporting this environment of the preachings of Hellraiser or etc. So I almost feel like this is going to be not a direct sequel, but almost like a sequel game to Hellraiser Deader. So if you consider Hellraiser 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 as canon, and then Deader, I think this might be the thing that follows. And I think it might be taking a lot of cues from those previous movies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, wasn't there some kind of a conflict between the direction that the Le Marchands or merchants went in Hellraiser Bloodline versus what they did with them in Deader?
Well, Dether had a guy called Winter, and he was supposed to be related to the Le Marchand bloodline, but I don't think he was
Yeah.
necessarily directly a descendant of Le Marchand. So I'm not sure. It's been a while since I've watched that movie, to be honest. What type of channels in your server seem to bring fans together the most? More like lore discussions, memes, or the live watch parties?
You go
Live watch
first.
party. I'll let Jeffercakes take that because that was his project. That was amazing.
Yeah.
So the live watch party was really popular, and in fact, after we watched 1, 2, and 3 the first time, I think we spent like an hour or 2 hours after the watch party just discussing the movies and chatting and just talking about everything, and having that free voice reign after watching that kind of material was great, just to interact with people who have different opinions, who are in different parts of the world, and who take different things from the film based on their own socio ecological upbringing, for example.
Sure.
But then we also had the same thing when I did the Bloodline watch party. And the amount of people who didn't realize that actually when you go to the movie, you're watching a cut down version of what the director imagined. The amount of possibilities and theorizing about what could be within the Hellraiser franchise was fantastic. People like drawing conclusions between this fact and that fact, and you know, oh, you saw this in the comics, but this is linked to that. It was just absolutely great to draw the community together. But that and the art channel, I would say that people who have creativity, Hellraiser lends itself to that as well. So people who have great imaginations and great artistic skill, creating their own elements within the fandom, I think that draws a lot of people together. And people who aren't artistic can go, oh my God, that's fantastic.
Gamescom 2025, they had like an environment there where people could play the first part of the game. Did any of you at the Discord server had a chance to look at any of that footage?
No, and also I thought that I was surprised at how very descriptive a lot of the journalism was in regards to like what they played. They were disclosing a lot, and I kind of admittedly skimmed a bit because I didn't want to spoil myself for when I inevitably play the game.
Sure.
It was interesting that they would describe what they played in their level, but then they would cut in images from the trailer that we've already seen.
Yeah.
So no, I guess nobody was allowed to actually show the footage that they were of
Yeah.
the game that they were playing.
They probably still have the embargo on that, but it's great that to know that it's already in a stage where people can actually play it. So I wonder if it's going to come out around summer of next year. That would be great if the Saber Interactive developers popped into the Discord server and gave some sort of update on that eventually. I do see the ads. Being a big Hellraiser fan and stuff, I get those ads popping up on my Facebook feed every single day.
Every day, and every day they're new because I clicked like on the last one, and so this new one doesn't say I liked it, so it's like they're making a new one every single day.
That's right.
I feel like I've been their unofficial publicity manager because my own Facebook account, I've been going to every comment where they're like, when is the announcement of the date coming out? Why is there no gameplay trailer? Where is the trailer? Why is can I ship the collector's edition to my country? I'm just sat there constantly in my like spare time just going, yes, you can ship it to your country, but you've got to get it from the US, or there's no announcement date yet, but you can look at this trailer here. But there's been radio silence from them, which has been a little bit frustrating from my perspective, because I want this game to succeed. And the only way to get it to succeed is by answering people's questions and getting them to buy the game.
I think it's a little bit disappointing too, because I can see that they want to put effort into their advertisement with the way that they have the little haikus and the in-character posting on like the game's Twitter accounts, but they also don't interact or acknowledge people who say like, hey, where's our Discord? Or like, we want a place to talk about this. And so it feels like counterintuitive, really.
Yeah. When the game actually launches, I guess, are you guys thinking about doing stuff like co-op events or lore hunts or any?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On what little information we have, all of that stuff, definitely maybe some tailor-made challenges, you know, like once we learn the mechanics, coming up with fun little challenges that are unique. You can post your results, post screenshots and stuff like that. We plan on having it a very, very interactive aspect of playing the game, because it's a single player game. It's a community. We'd like everybody to kind of be involved and share their playthrough.
Yeah, we want
We were
to,
thinking of having like a trophy challenge where we would have teams against each other, challenging each other to get trophies the fastest.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
because this is going to come out. I think it's confirmed for like PlayStation, Xbox, PC.
I think that's
I don't think Switch is confirmed.
Is it? Wow, that's going to be amazing.
No, I don't think it is. Sorry.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
it's just
that's
going to be
not
PlayStation
amazing.
5, Xbox Series. Yeah, it'll be compromised if it's on the Switch, right? I mean, because the graphics can't
there's
be.
a Switch 2 now. It's not the same.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I'm more of a PC game guy, kind of guy. I usually get my games through Steam. I'm not that much of a PlayStation or Xbox player, but I'm looking forward to that. I wonder if this game would be able to have mods and stuff. That would be tremendous, because if you can make your own maps and stuff like that, I guess we'll have to wait and see what Saber Interactive tells us about that. I'm curious to know what the requirements are going to be, because, nowadays games seem to come out and they become bigger and bigger every time. Like, when Oblivion Remaster came out, that thing is like 100 and something gigabytes of hard drive space. It's a lot. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to make this one, because the graphics look pretty good.
Yeah, we just had that with the Helldivers 2. The developers at a certain point stopped and said, "Okay, we're going to stop releasing content because their file size was like 120 gigs." So
Yeah.
they're like, "All right, we're going to work on bringing that down before we release any new content for a while."
Yeah.
But so bear with us. It's going to be a bit, but we're going to work on that.
Jeffercakes, you mentioned you did a watch party where you had like a Hellraiser Bloodline fan edit, right? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we did the 1 to 3 movie watch along, and we dropped a poll into the Discord, and we said, do you just want, like, for the next movie, if we do a watch along, what movie do you want? And if there's any extra content, do you want us to try and add that, or try and watch something with deleted scenes, for example? And Bloodline obviously is the next movie in the franchise. People wanted the extra content added, and then I started doing a bit of research and realized that there are like 3 or 4 different work prints out there on top of the original release, and they're all very different. Being that I went to university, I did film, I did editing, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to set myself a 31-day challenge. I'm going to see what I can do in a month to make this the most complete version of Bloodline before the watch along. So I dropped probably about 110 hours over the course of 31 months. Bear in mind that I work full time as well. So It's a lot of like evenings, weekends trying to do the edit. And I combined 3 of the work prints. There was one which was like the 89 entertainment work print. There was the Arrow work print that is available on the Quartet. And there was one also that was available through archive.org. So I tried to combine as many of the deleted scenes, the removed scenes, and the extra content into this complete version of Bloodline. And I also went back and because we started interacting with Valentina Vargas, who was the voice actor for Angelique, and I realized that they overdubbed her. In comparison to the work print version, they removed all of her audio and made her do it with like more of a American twang. So I went back and removed all of the audio for her, added all of her original audio in, and also started trying to add more of the original soundtrack in, which they cut out. Loads of people loved it. I put it out in the Discord, obviously for the watch along, and people just wanted to watch it again. And they said I actually ruined the original theatrical release for them, which is probably one of the biggest compliments I can possibly get. Yeah. And we've now put it out on YouTube. Unfortunately, because there's a lot of copyrighted content on it, it is blocked in about 74 different countries,
right,
including ours. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I would not condone that, but that is a way. But it is out there available for people to watch, and it's different. There's a few people who have done different versions of like a complete version of Bloodline on YouTube
with animatics and stuff.
Yeah, I had quite a specific vision in my mind on what we were going to do or what I was going to do. A lot of the space scenes at the beginning was duplicated towards the end. Yeah. I tried to make it so that the people who were coming onto the space station, the first sequence was what they were seeing. So I cut out most of Pinhead. I cut out the solving of the box. I cut out the robot. so that it was just like the guys that were coming on, and then they got told what the story was, and then it progressed that way. I feel like that was a great way of telling the story without trying to duplicate how the story was meant to be. Because the Kevin Yeager cut is still lost. It's still out there. I've reached out to Kevin Yeager myself saying, can you please release this? Because the fans really want to watch it.
Yeah.
But I think it's the best version that you can watch without getting the original.
We had an interview with Kevin Yeager, and we talked to him about that, and he had mentioned that, you know, maybe someday I'll do something like that, but it was kind of non-committal.
It's a very interesting movie, the way that it went down. It's just it shows what happens when there's a cascade of production failures, and you know, eventually the movie ended up being completely rejected by the original writer, Peter Atkins. You know, he just posted on his Facebook recently, yesterday actually. He posted yesterday a copy of the letter he sent to the producers of the movie when he said, you know what, you know, this movie is going to go down in flames, but I don't want to be the guy who strikes the match. So I'm done with this. I don't want to do any more drafts.
Because they had asked him to change a bunch of stuff in the script, in a fax, right? They sent him a fax asking him to change a bunch of stuff in the script. And he was like, no, I'm, like Jose said, you might want to set fire to this film, but I'm not going to be the first one to light the match.
It's a troubled film, but it's interesting. It's very fascinating to me. I think of this story was super ambitious, so I'm interested in watching that cut of yours. I will try to find a way of watching that and then get back to you.
I'll find a way of getting it to you. If anything, at least you get to watch Spider Pinhead, which is
I've seen
which is probably one of the fun scenes.
Yeah, he shoots the chain out of his mouth and then he goes up to the ceiling. It's an interesting. To my knowledge, there's only 2 work prints. One of them came out in 2006 or something when it was the Hellbound Web. There was someone who got a VHS tape, and another person kind of converted it to digital and sent a DVD to a few of us. And then there was the other one that came out on the box, the Quartet. The Quartet of Torment, yes, which is a great edition. Everybody should have that box. It's just beautiful. There it is. Yeah. Crawley has it.
Yeah, I had to get the Chatterer version too.
Oh yeah, Ryan, is that the one you have as well?
No, I have the Pinhead one. I mean, I thought I was ordering the Chatterer one, but apparently I ordered the Pinhead one.
Yeah. Hey Ryan, what version of the game have you pre-ordered? The one with all the bells and whistles?
Yeah, so there's one that sold out immediately, right? And so I got the second one. I think the Cenobite edition is the one I got for PlayStation 5.
Awesome. I have a little bit of an issue with pre-ordering games. I'm going to have to see what I can pre-order here. I usually go for the PC Steam version, so I'm definitely interested in that. Once this game launches, you guys are going to be very busy at that Discord with, spoiler management and all that stuff. That's going to be interesting. I definitely am interested in being part of some of your watch parties. So let us know when you got any other watch parties planned.
Yeah, I think Hellraiser 5 is going to be our next watch party. Annoyingly, I did a bit of research into it and found that the German edition is meant to be 2 minutes longer than American/English edition. And I went through the efforts of tracking that down and realized all they did was add 2 minutes of extra companies at the beginning as like flash screens. And it was exactly the same as the standard. Yeah, exactly the same as the Blu-ray edition.
So you don't get 2 extra minutes of the Karate Cowboys.
Sadly not, no. I literally watched them side by side for an hour and a half, and I was just like, this is exactly the same film.
Over the years.
Or 2 extra minutes of Pinhead preaching to them about why they've lived bad lives.
Yeah. Over the years, I've been very vocal about Inferno was definitely the one that I like the least, but it has its place. I mean, it is part of it, whether you like it or not. So definitely.
Well, it's not it can't be the worst anymore after they made Revelations.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't count.
Yeah,
that doesn't count. It's not fair.
It barely even counts as a movie.
There's a German edition, I think, coming out for the Hulu Hellraiser one. That's going to be chock full of stuff, including interviews with effects guys that worked on it.
Put together by our friend Ed Martinez.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting. Keep an eye out for that Hellraiser 2022 edition that's going to come out from Germany. I remember hunting down when I was younger. There was a famous red edition for the Hellraiser 3. That was a German red edition. And I went to Germany once and I did get a copy of that. Oh, it had some stuff in it that I'd never seen before, but it's like, it's always fun to have to track down those editions and be a completist. All the stuff behind me is not all the stuff I have. I have movie props and stuff like that that just not here right now. It's back in Portugal, which is where I'm from. I haven't been able to move all my collection into the United States yet. There's a lot of stuff that you can collect about Hellraiser. So this will become definitely another collectible, the first ever true adaptation of a Hellraiser game. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think we actually have a channel where you can post all your collectibles and stuff. So be sure to pop on by and share your stuff.
Oh yeah,
I love
definitely.
seeing people's stuff.
It's
Yeah.
like
Hellraiser
Tether, who can be
collectibles or Clive Barker collectibles?
all
all-
sorts.
Any-
Hellraiser collectibles, but I'm sure that if it's Clive Barker
Okay.
related, it'll pass fine.
Okay. Well,
So
we
I
have,
can't help but to call her out for this, but Tether sent me a photo, and they've got every single version of the 2022 Lament configuration in every single format. There's
Right.
like 7 different cubes in 7 different formats, and I was just like wowed when they sent me the photo of it, and I just
Wow. Someone made the actual physical versions of those boxes?
yes.
That is
So
amazing.
like the spiky version and everything else, it like
they
every
stab
single
your hand
stage.
when you're trying.
Well,
I
I'd hope
liked
not.
I liked when you guys posted a exclusive video with Jamie Clayton. At the end, she pulls out, "Oh, I do have a game here. It's like I want to solve this puzzle," and then she was like, "Ow," off screen.
Yeah.
And it cuts away. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
cuts away. But one of the excellent interviews you guys have is the one with Collins and Piotrowski, the guys who wrote the script for the Hulu Hellraiser 2022. You guys got like maybe 50 questions. They went through all of that stuff. It's a huge interview. It's really good.
Yeah, I think we need to give another shout out to Combat Tether for that, because they've been kind of behind the helm on getting a lot of those interviews and stuff. You can definitely tell that those two, it was definitely a passion project. It was something that they were really happy to be a part of, and they turned down some previous things because they felt like the script wasn't good enough and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think their summary of Cenobites is one of my favorite, and I feel like I have to share it. The Cenobites aren't monsters or maniacs or killers. They really are trying to share their gospel to offer you gifts. It's not their fault if you don't appreciate those gifts. Pain is
Yeah.
beautiful to them, divine.
Yeah.
So you can tell that they definitely loved the source material, and it wasn't them just trying to churn out another Hellraiser, keep a license, or just kind of get it out there. I'm really happy with what they put out.
I thought that after watching that I mean, I was just blown away, and I thought that it would be universally beloved, that movie. But then you start reading comments on it, and there's a surprising sort of vocal minority of people that think it's like the worst Hellraiser movie ever.
There's always going to be people who are contrarian. There's always going to be people who don't like change, I guess.
Yeah.
But at the time, I put out, when I watched the movie, the very next day I put out, "I've seen the future of Hellraiser, and his name is David Bruckner."
Stephen
Yes.
King quote.
Yes. I was like, "I've seen the future of Hellraiser, and his name is David Bruckner." That was my comment on Twitter at the time. And then that was my last ever tweet. But I meant it. I really enjoy that. It was such a good thing. The whole Cenobites having their skin be their outfit, I think, was an inspired creation. It was just beautiful. I've heard that one of the producers say that they're working on a sequel, so I hope that is coming out.
I think it's still in pre-production stages, right? Because any actors that ever talk about it, they're just like, "Oh, I hope something's going to happen."
Yeah. But you guys got great interviews, exclusive interviews at the Discord server with Terry Farrell from the Hellraiser 3, with the actress that played the Weeper in the Hulu Hellraiser, even Valentina Vargas, which is one of those holy grails for us to get her in our podcast. Eventually, we have to reach out to her as well and see if we can. Yeah, we've tried a couple of times, but
she's super keen.
Yeah,
I'll just put that out there. She is super keen to re-engage with the Hellraiser audience.
Oh, that's wonderful.
In fact, our bot, or one of our bots within our Discord, which credits people on their interactions and what they post, is Angelique, and her picture pops up every single time somebody levels up. Valentina offered to record almost all of her lines. I think over 100 lines she offered to record just so that we could use them as voice snippets within our Discord for our bot to be able to put out. She's like super engaging.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's been probably more than a decade since we've tried to talk to her, so maybe it's time to try again.
It's time to play.
Yeah,
that's right. Awesome. Well, guys, this has been really, really cool. I've just been reading all those interviews. It's really good content, and I love the enthusiasm in that server. So thanks so much for doing this. This is really awesome.
Oh, it's any chance to gush about Hellraiser, I am. I'm all up for.
Yeah, 100%. Hellraiser Revival. I think the title itself speaks so much because the 2022 movie definitely breathed some new life into the franchise, but I feel like this game is kind of the revival for Hellraiser, and it's going to bring it to a whole nother generation, people who are first just now discovering it, and this will be their entry point. They're going and watching the old movies, and feels like a really good time right now for Hellraiser.
Well, it's the only way you're going to see something new with the Cenobites from Hellraiser 1 and 2.
Yeah,
we're getting those new models. We're getting the new figures, and we're getting they're going to stop making the Trick or Treat Lament configuration. They're going to start making the one from the first movie now as well. There's a lot of new Hellraiser stuff that's on the first movie. It's coming out recently.
Yeah, I remember seeing those in January at the toy fair when the news about the toy fair came out in 2025 in January. I saw the printed versions, not painted or anything, but they're just 3D printed versions of the upcoming Cenobite figurines, and they look pretty good. I mean, they really made them look like the actual actors, like the Doug Bradley face and all that. It's really excellent. I'm looking forward to that coming out next year. That's definitely going to bring a lot of, and there's something on the can also from Trick or Treat, I think, about Nightbreed. They still have the rights for that, so I think they're working on something for Nightbreed as well.
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Heard anything about Nightbreed in a while.
Yeah,
that's awesome. And I love the pillow you got there behind you, Crawford, with all the Cenobites.
That is cool. I didn't notice that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Guys, this was great. I hope next time we talk, we'll be talking about our experiences with the game. That would be terrific.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
I hope it comes out soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. So,
Crawley, thanks for joining us.
Jeffercakes and Crawford, thank you. Jeffercakes, let us know how we can watch that fan edit, okay?
I'll get it to you somehow.
All right. Our best, and we'll be active on your Discord, and we'll put that on the show notes as well. Make sure everybody knows all the ways that they can join.
And this podcast having no beginning will have no end. A quick Kickstarter update. Bennett, if you're there, Bennett, we need you to fill out your survey so we can get that mailed out to you. So please do it as quick as you can. And before we close out, we want to give a special thanks to our Patreon sponsors: David Anderson, Eric Vanderholt, Daniel Elvin, Amanda Stewart, Bradley Gartz, Matthew Batten, Bennett, Jesse, Clara Leslie, Timothy Raymakers, Terry Murdoch, Don Bertram Celebrate Imagination, Ed Martinez's YouTube channel, and the Now Playing podcast. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have subscribed or followed our podcast. You can find the Clive Barker Podcast wherever you find audio. Show notes for this episode, as well as news and reviews, can be found at our website at www.clivebarkercast.com. The Clive Barker Podcast, or BarkerCast, is an independent editorial podcast and blog that's not affiliated with Clive Barker or Seraphim Inc. This is a labor of love by the fans for the fans. You can chat with us on our Facebook BarkerCast listeners group, our Facebook page, Reddit, Blue Sky, or our Discord server. Have you already bought our book? The BarkerCast Interviews Occupy Midian, available in Amazon hardcover, Kindle, and Apple Books. Join our Patreon and become a patron to get access to exclusive stuff, pick an episode topic, or maybe join in the discussion. You can also buy a t-shirt in our TeePublic store. Just go to teepublic.com/stores/BarkerCast. Leave a voicemail for us on the SpeakPipe link on our blog, and we might put it in the episode. Opening and ending music generously provided by Ray Norrish.
Thanks for listening.